What if I told you a respected psychologist convinced ordinary people to torture strangers inside a university lab? Not criminals, not sadists, teachers, salesmen, fathers, neighbors. And the darkest part? Most of them obeyed. His name was Stanley Milgram. On paper, he was studying memory. In reality, he was dissecting obedience. The volunteers thought they were helping science. They were wrong. They were the experiment. The offer sounded harmless. Show up, help with a learning test, get paid, go home. No one was told the real question. Milgram did not want to know how people learn. He wanted to know how far a normal human being would go when authority told them. Continue. The setup was simple. One person became the teacher. One became the learner. But the learner was an actor. The teacher did not know that. The teacher believed every mistake deserved an electric shock. The machine looked real. The switches looked real. The danger labels looked real. The screams sounded real. But the shocks were fake. The fear was not. At first, the shocks were small. 15 volts, 30 volts, 45 volts. The teacher laughed nervously. The learner made mistakes. The voltage climbed. Then the learner started complaining. At 150 volts, the learner demanded to stop. At higher levels, he screamed. Then he mentioned a heart condition. Then he begged. Then he went silent. And silence became the most terrifying sound in the room. The teacher asked, "Should we stop?" The man in the lab coat did not threaten him. He did not shout. He did not touch him. He used 4 calm sentences. Please continue. The experiment requires that you continue. It is absolutely essential that you continue. You have no other choice. That was all it took. No gun, no cage, no chains. Just a room, a title, and a voice that sounded official. Some participants sweated. Some shook. Some laughed in panic. Some argued. But many still pressed the switch. They crossed the line while begging someone else to own the guilt. In the first official study, 65% went all the way to 450 volts. Think about that. Not because they were evil, because someone in authority told them the experiment must continue. Milgram did not discover monsters. He discovered a door inside ordinary people. A door that opens when responsibility is moved from the self to the system. Most people believe they would resist. They imagine themselves standing up. They imagine themselves saying no. But imagination is cheap. Pressure is expensive. And Milgram made people pay. The experiment exposed 3 psychological weapons. First, authority reduces moral resistance. Second, gradual steps make cruelty feel manageable. Third, shared responsibility lets people betray their own conscience. No one jumps straight to 450 volts. They arrive there one small switch at a time. That is the anatomy of obedience. The first step feels harmless. The second feels uncomfortable. The third feels too late to question. By the time the mind wakes up, the hand has already obeyed. Today, the lab coat is not always white. Sometimes it is a uniform. Sometimes it is a boss. Sometimes it is a screen. Sometimes it is an algorithm telling you what to hate, what to buy, and who to become. Milgram showed us that the human mind can outsource morality, that people can commit harm while telling themselves, "I was only following instructions." But the most dangerous instruction is not shouted. It is whispered through routine, through hierarchy, through fear of disobedience. So here is the question the analyst leaves on your table tonight. If you were in that room, and the man in the lab coat looked at you, and the stranger screamed behind the wall, would you stop, or would you press the next switch? In the next Mind Autopsy, we enter a basement where college students became guards, volunteers became prisoners, and a fake prison became so real, even the psychologist lost control. Your mind is not as free as you think, and the autopsy has only begun.